Hey guys, A1 Blackjack here. By now I'm sure you've heard of my flashcards. We got my basic strategy flashcards, my top 30 deviation flashcards, but today I'm super excited to announce my brand new deck of H-17 specific deviation flashcards. Now, not only are these deviation flashcards, but they also include non-deviation flashcards, which means you have to be able to distinguish the difference between what is and what isn't a deviation. For example, let's just take one here. This is a soft 14 versus a dealer's 3. Now, basic strategy, of course, we're just going to hit this. But is there a deviation? Well, you have to be able to figure that out. And it turns out that no, there is not a deviation for this specific hand. When you're sitting there at the blackjack table, you don't have the luxury of only having deviation flashcards like I've given you in the past. You have to be able to tell non-deviation hands as well. Let's say our true count's way up at like a +8. You get this hand. Should you hit still, or should you deviate by doubling down? And these will give you the clues on which ones you do have deviations for and which ones you don't. All right, so another question I get is these come in the form of a downloadable PDF, all right? And they're gonna be available at the link in the description. I'll talk more about that later. However, I also wanna give you a couple of instructions on how to print these out and how to best serve this for you, as they come at a relatively cheap cost, so I can get these to you immediately. But I also want to make sure that you get nice quality cards and that you are able to download these and cut them out the right way. Let's check it out. All right, so I'm over here at Office Depot and Office Max's website, and this is the page that I'm going to link down below. However, if you just go to their main site, you can also get there by going at the top where it says Services, and then in the middle, there's one that's just copies, kind of again right on top. So if you click that, that's the page I'm going to link at the bottom of this video. Then we want to go over here on the right side where it says Get Started. And you can get copies as low as 18 cents each, but we're going to choose a little bit more quality paper. We are going to start by hitting My Device is where you're going to download these from. Yours are going to be in your downloads if you purchase from my my store. However, I have them up here in my desktop, and so I'm just going to select all 6 files. You would too. Select all 6 at once, and that way we just have to modify I should say, one time, and that'll affect each of our 6 different PDFs here. Okay. So you can see when we do this, down at the bottom says page 1 of 12. That's because currently it's just one-sided, and I'll show you the fix for that in a second. Yeah, like right now you can see this left side is blank, and that'd be like the back of our first page. We want that to be the back of the flashcards, and because of that, we need to print this out on double-sided. So yeah, this page is blank, and to fix that, we're going to go over here to the left side. All right, there's a few options, and one of them is double-sided. Let's click that. If you don't click that, then you're probably going to have to paste yours together or something, and you don't want to have to do that. So now you can see that this is pages 2 and 3 of 12, and that's because one's on the back side and one's on the front side, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, a couple other options. If you go to the left, you probably don't want to staple yours, I wouldn't guess, but if you want more than one copy, you can change the quantity. So I'm just going to print out one for this time. And then I'm going to go down a little bit more. I do want the letter size paper, so that's fine. However, we don't want just the standard white 24 pound. We're going to go in here and we're going to change it. It's still going to be white, but what I have found that works best is you would think it'd be cardstock, but it's actually going to be one more down, which is this matte cardstock cover. And this is 37 cents per copy. So this matte cardstock cover, if you want something thicker, you can go with the premium, 100 pound, but let's go with this matte cardstock cover. And then I think the rest of the options are good. We want to make sure it's color paper, obviously double-sided, and then the orientation should already be correct. Okay, so then it's just a matter of going down here to the bottom and hitting add to carts. You notice that this is $9.90, so it is under $10. And that way you can get some real quality prints for relatively cheap, and you get your downloads right away as long as you purchase directly from me. Okay, so just proceed to checkout, and then you can go from there. Once you've printed out the sheets, this is kind of what they look like. All right, this is going to be the front. Again, there's 9 cards on each side here. So this is the front, and then the back, they would match up. All right, the way that I have aligned those in those PDFs is so that the front side, like this here, let's pick one, just a random one in the middle or the bottom. How about this? This is 13 versus dealer's 2. Now, right across from that needs to be the exact same. And so, yeah, 13 versus dealer's 2. Notice here, this is on the, I think it's your left side. And as I flip it over, now it's on your right side because that's the way that has to be printed out. So I've done that hard work for you and have aligned those the correct way. And that's what I got, all right? Now, because they're still in a sheet like this, we have to, of course, cut them apart. You can either use a scissors, or I like to use either an X-Acto knife, or I have just a Milwaukee knife is what I like to use, along with a straight edge. Now, I definitely don't want to cut through my felt here, and whatever you're using, you probably don't want to cut through your table or anything like that either. So I would encourage you to use something underneath, especially if you're using a knife. And then you just have to line these up, cut them all out, and since there's only 6 pages, it shouldn't take too long. All right, I'm going to throw us in a little hyperlapse for you, and you can see all my fast work here. All right, so I cut the majority of those with a knife just because I like to be nice and precise and have real nice cards that can even fit maybe into an empty card deck or something like that. However, if you want, you can absolutely use a scissors. I'm gonna use the last few here with the scissors, and just to show you that it works just as good. All right, but for those longer cuts, especially like down the sides, like here, you, I mean, maybe you're more steady with the scissors than I am, but I'm not too great. Must have not been too good in kindergarten when I learned that. But I don't know, when do you learn with scissors? But anyway, you can see for this last little bit, especially when it's just kind of one snip across, scissors absolutely do the job. All right, I also included a blank card here in case you lose one, or if you know another deviation that you want to write on there, you can. All right, and then let me pull off this this board here, and let's try a couple. All right, so I got a few pulled out here, and you can just see the way this works, the way that you read these. If you've never got any of my flashcards before, which you may not have, that's fine. But the way that you read this is going to represent, the bottom is going to represent your cards. The top is going to be the dealer's up card. All right, so just like if I were to deal out, you know, a couple cards here, this, of course, would be what you have, and then that's the dealer's up card. All right, so same thing, yours and then the dealer's. So that is the idea behind that. All right, so for example, this one is a soft 19 versus a dealer's 6. A soft 19 is normally going to be a double down. However, you're going to stand when the count is any negative running count, right? And if that doesn't quite make sense to you, on the back here at the top, it has what the normal basic strategy is for H-17. Okay, this is what actually one is different for S-17. Right, and then in the middle is going to be how you deviate. And this is 0 and below. What that means is that there's any negative running count, right? Because this is one that happens at a running count, as others happen at true counts. Okay, if that's still confusing for you, underneath that, let me see if I can put this on the screen. It says, normally a double down, stand at any negative running count. All right, so we have a few here. I always like to do them in this order: hit, stand, double down, and split. So you can see that these are how we deviate. So this one's going to deviate. This is an 11 versus dealer's ace. Normally it's double down. You're going to hit at a -1 or lower. This one is that's the one we just did, right? The soft 19 versus dealer 6. Normally double down, stand at any negative running count. A soft 20 versus a dealer 6. This is normally a stand, but then it becomes okay to double down at a true count of +4 or higher, right? And again, these lowers and highers, like this one, it happens at 4 or higher. Don't just do it at +4, okay? Otherwise, you only have a very specific time you do it. This is a range above 4, of course. And again, at the bottom, it says normally a stand, double down at a TC, true count of +4 or higher. All right, and then this one is probably the most famous splitting tens hand. That's going to be a pair of 10s versus a dealer 6. And again, that's what it says on the front. You can split 10 J, 10 Jack, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be just 10-10, all 10 valued cards. And then this one's going to split at a +4 or higher. So normally a stand, you don't usually want to split up your 20s. In fact, some APs don't even like to split 10s at all. Right now, this deck is a little bit different from my other deviation decks because it includes no deviation cards. So let me just flip these over. Here you have a pair of 10s versus dealer's 2, all right? Really, you should only be splitting 10s against a dealer's 4, 5, and 6 in those very, very specific counts, and they're a little bit higher than normal. Okay, this one, I think there might be an expanded deviation, but it's worth so little value to you that on the back, I'm just going to say no deviation. Right? That's going to be important so that you realize that you should just always stand on this. You need to be able to recognize the difference between a pair of 10s versus a dealer's 2 and a pair of 10s versus a dealer's 6. This one does have a deviation. This one does not. Okay. And then I also have another set of, I think there's maybe 10 to 15 or so of my no deviations that have expanded deviation. So I'll throw this one on the screen for you. This is going to be a soft 16 versus a dealer's 3. A soft 16 versus a dealer's 3, you are going to normally hit this, all right? And it's tempting to maybe double down or want to, all right? However, I'm going to say this is not a deviation, and that's how probably I would learn it. I'm not usually one to learn these expanded deviations, but if you have the capacity to do that, that's totally fine. I'm just going to read this for us. It's a little bit smaller because it is a little bit more rare, but it says, not a top 30, but it is an expanded deviation. You can deviate by doubling down a true count of +4 or higher. All right, so now that you know how to read these and how to use them, how do you get your hands on these? All right, you definitely need a stack of these if you want to become really good at Advantage Blackjack and have the best edge possible over the casino. Right, so I'm going to put a link down in the description and I'll put it in the pinned comment of this video. However, I don't want you guys to pay full price for this. So from now until this Sunday, just a very limited time, if you click that link, it's going to take you to buy these, but I think right now they're $15. I want you to get $5 off. So you can use my code H-17-5 to get $5 off of that total price, and that way you don't have to spend all that money. All right, now it's going to be less than, now it's $10. That's like less than most bets you're going to place at any casino, and this could help you win a lot. So I think that's justified. Now that $5 off, this is only going to be through this Sunday. Right, Sunday at midnight, that is going to go away. So act now, buy those up. I really think you're going to like these. I put a lot of hard work into making them, making sure they're all correct for you. I've double checked these quite a few times, and I think they are good to go. All right, guys, hopefully you like this. If you did, please hit the like button for me. And remember, this is only good until Sunday. Otherwise, it is going to be $15 to purchase these flashcards. All right, have a good one. This is A1 Blackjack.